Erin, I want to come to you because, and thank you for that, but I want to come to you because for you, you're listening to this, and I watch the way when you do interviews, you're a lawyer, so naturally you're watching to find leaks in the opposition's argument, and you're trying to see what their approach is, what their tactic is, what they're doing. You've gone through this from the parent's perspective, okay? She's gone through this as the child perspective, and Ollie's gone through it in a complete different perspective, right? For you, from the parent's perspective. What caused you to all of a sudden get a little bit more concerned and involved?
Well, as soon as my daughter came out as trans, that was the ultimate concern. And also overhearing the school calling her by a different name and a different pronoun without involving the parent. I mean, that was red flag, red flag. And I understand what Luka's parents went through because I went through it. We went to different psychologists, different psychiatrists, different doctors. Every single one of them told me to affirm my child. I even had a psychiatrist tell me that my memory of my daughter being this girly girl from age, baby to the age of 13 was a false memory. It was so absurd to me. I was given the suicide stats too, 41%. And then I would query these, medical providers, so-called experts, and I'd say, well, tell me a little bit more about the study. How many people were in that study? What questions were asked? Not one of them can answer the question because no one had read the study. Well, I had. I had read the study, and I found them all to be flimsy as all get out. But yeah, I mean, the pressure on the parents, I was also told my daughter would commit suicide. My daughter actually told me that she would commit suicide because all trans kids commit suicide. So the fear of the parent is real, and you have no one to turn to help you. You do this alone. So I understand when parents capitulate because it's really a tough journey as a parent because everyone hates you. The teachers hate you. I had Child Protective Services come to my house for not affirming my child. I had the police come to my house. I have lost...
What are you talking about? The police and Child Protective Services comes to your house in California. What are they telling you when they come to your house?
So this is how it went down. So after, this is COVID. So my daughter's down the hallway from me. And I hear them calling her a male name and using male pronouns. So I call the school. And I read them the riot act. I mean, I lay into them hard about they have no right to change my daughter's name. And they said, well, we need to be a safe space. Safe space? She's down the hall from me. She never stepped foot into that school. It's COVID. This is, freshman year of high school. I asked them, tell me one thing about my daughter. Is she tall? Is she fat? What color's her hair? They knew nothing about her.
Wow.
Nothing about her.
While you're going through this, I'm trying to think, you and your husband, are you guys married at the time? Are you guys together at the time? Are you on the same page of what you are not for and what you are for politically, as well as with what to do with your kids?
We are totally on the same page.
At the time?
Yes.
So you've always been on the same page?
Correct.
Got it. So it's not like... because sometimes these types of things, like you heard about Dwayne Wade and his wife, right? Where Dwayne Wade, Miami, local, he moves to California because he feels safer for his kid transitioning. But the mom's like, what are you doing? Let's wait till 18 years old. So sometimes in these types of situations, mom and dad are not on the same page. So there's a leak to come in between, kind of similar maybe for, Oli didn't have the best relation with his father. That could be also a trend that you notice. But that wasn't the case with you guys.
No, I was very lucky.
So as a person living in San Fran, you're seeing that taking place. They're targeting your kids. What moves are you making? Are you playing offense? Are you sitting there saying, this is number one priority. I'm going to find out everything about this? Because you're not in a state that is on your side. They don't protect you. You're in a state that they protect their political, policies and whatever they want to do. They're not going to favor a mother or a parent telling their kids who they should be.
Well, that's the fun part because early on I played defense. You can't win a game playing defense. So we went on the offensive in California, and I wrote 6 bills, and I shopped them around, and one Republican lawmaker, Assemblyman Bill Asaley, picked it up. And we went on the offensive, and it's been really quite amazing to see that California is making this change. So we have parental notification policies that are being passed in schools now, and that's all because we decided to go on the offensive, and that's what we're doing, and we're going to continue to do that. That's why we're doing the initiative. Is we can't play defense, and they should be actually afraid of us because parents, we're powerful. If we all join forces, we are powerful, and we can stop this. Even in the most liberal state in the union, we can stop this.
Are you noticing you unifying with other parents, mothers who are Republicans, because you're not one, you're a Democrat, and you're sitting there saying, well, we have something in common here, our kids, we're going to fight for our kids. Is it bringing, because offline you and I were talking, and you said, every parent wants this for their kids. And I said, for me, I don't understand why some parents are caving in. And they're like, it's almost as if it's politics before their kids. And you said, I don't think that's the case. You said it's something else, if you want to unpack that for the audience. Because to some of us, we're sitting there saying, well, that's, liberal policies. It's being liberal. If your kid wants to do that, let them. If they want to do this, let them. But you're saying that's not the case.
It's not the case, and the media is not presenting it. So even getting my name in the media is almost impossible because I'm a Democrat. They don't want to put my name out there. They don't want anyone to find me that a liberal Democrat is actually against this. And, I run a parent group. About 80% of us are Democrats or were Democrats. We're all voting Republican in 2024, just so you know. But but we were Democrats, and we're against this. But the media doesn't ever spotlight this fact. We are hidden. We are the best kept secret. So yes, the Democrats are standing with the Republicans. Look, my reach is I've got the radical feminists all the way on the left are fighting this, and then I've got the evangelicals on the right, and we are all joining hands. And so the Democrats should actually be really scared because we are going on the offensive and we are putting our differences aside to safeguard kids. And shocking, we actually have more in common than I ever thought. Hanging out with Republican groups, I'm like, actually, we agree on about 80% of the same things. They siloed us. They wanted us to think each other are monsters. We're not. We actually have so much in common, and we have to use that, to stop this.
Can I ask you a question? You mentioned about Gavin Newsom, and about 4 weeks ago, and I read it, and I read a lot of in the media that it was Gavin trying to walk to the center to getting ready for a presidential run, but he backed off a bill, a trans and parent notification bill. Were you involved in that? Were you lobbying on that? Can you unpack that? Because the narrative people heard
Rob,
that
can
I
you pull
read
up that bill?
That I read was, oh, Gavin's running to the center. He wants to look like he's in the center, and he also, vetoed other bills about having, self-driving trucks were okay, and it's all about a centricist. But it sounds like your fingerprints are all over what he did. Can you unpack it?
Yeah, you're correct. We were fighting AB 957, which is a bill that would have forced judges to find that the health, safety, and welfare of a child, it's their best interest to support their transgender identity.
Against the parents.
Against the parents.
Got it.
And the reason, let's be clear. I'm really happy that Newsom vetoed that, and it was a huge win because this is what they were trying to do, and most people miss this. They looked at the bill and said, this is just in divorce. So in divorce, they're going to favor the parent who affirms the child. But when you tie those three words, health, safety, and welfare, to supporting a trans identity, now you just made it child abuse. So parents like me could have had my child taken because I wouldn't transition my child. So it was bigger than that. It's actually, the opposite of Texas. It would have been penalizing parents who would not transition their kids. What Gavin Newsom knows and what I know is that when there is a divorce situation and there's one parent supporting the transgender identity and one that's not, the parent who is supporting the trans identity always gets the kid in California. That's already happening. This bill was going to add to it to make it, child abuse.
So if you're disingenuous, that's your custody hack.
Exactly. So he was, they were trying to go through the back door. I know Scott Wiener. Scott Wiener was the author of this bill. I watched this guy. I studied this guy. I know what they're doing. I read everything in California. But let me just talk about one bill that Gavin Newsom did approve because it's the scariest bill I've ever seen. It's AB 665. What this bill does is it's state-sanctioned kidnapping. 12-year-olds. If you're 12 or older, these kids can run away to a state-run facility, residential facility, with no claim of abuse on their parents. For no reason, for any reason, they can run away and they can get housed away from their
Wait, you call
parents.
it state-sanctioned kidnapping?
Yes, because the state is allowing a 12-year-old for any reason to take off from their family and go live in a residential facility.
Did this approve?
Yes. So Gavin Newsom signed that into law. That is a terribly frightening bill. So in the world of trans, it goes something like this. You've got a 7th grader who goes into their school counselor and says, I'm trans and my parents won't support it. Okay, would you like to stay in a residential facility? Would you like to stay away from your bigoted, hateful family? We'll send you to this facility. And off the kid goes.
And you said, let me interrupt you. For people listening, between the lines here, you said, and there does not have to be any record of abuse or something that the child has reported or maybe got a family member to help report a parent. 0 on record, they can walk in and do this.
0. So this is the blowing up of the family, and this is taking the child when the child is 12 years old, and we know what happens when they go to these residential facilities.
What can parents do to fight that?
Well, there's going to be a lawsuit against that bill. So I need people who have kids that are ages 12 to 17 to reach out to me because we need to line up the plaintiffs. We need to fight that bill quickly in the courts before 12-year-olds can just walk out the door and parents don't see them again.
There's a couple things here, folks, if you're listening to this. You know, every parent, I would recommend, if you're dealing with anything, you can ask her direct questions. You're on Minnect now, right? I think you talked to Lisa. Lisa, you can find Erin on Minnect. Rob, if you can put the link in the chat as well as in the description for people to see it. Ask any questions you have on Minnect. You can get a hold of her as well as there's a website called protectkidsca.com.